Coach Bree. How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good, good. I am sitting here. I was waiting on your call, waiting for this to start. I cannot, man, listen, let me tell you, I've been waiting all week to talk with you. Um, Really what I want to do firstly is give everybody a chance to get to know you. But first, let me properly introduce. So look everybody, once again, I am Mike Burks. It's the Pick Your Brain show. And just to give you a little insight on why I created this, a lot of times entrepreneurs are getting this inbox, they're getting this email, they're getting this text message. Hey, I want to pick your brain about how to open a business or how to build a business. And let me tell you something. Entrepreneurs hate that. They hate it with a passion because you're trying to get something from them, but you're not getting something back. So what I did is I created a platform to go out, talk to all of my mentors, all of my coaches, all of the people that I have in my entrepreneurship community, all my business people, and I'm talking to them about the three things that you want to know. So look, tonight, we have. You know what? I'm not even going to introduce her. I'm going to let her introduce herself. Bree, introduce yourself to everyone on the line.
All right, I can do that. Hey, everybody, this is Coach Bree Williams, and I am an entrepreneur. I have a nonprofit called Be Better You, also known as BBU, and I'm just my heart is just for youth and young adults, just to see their lives be changed and to see them be empowered. On top of me owning a nonprofit, I'm also a girls basketball coach. I currently right now coach for Ontario Christian High School out here in California.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love it. I love coaching. It's something I'm definitely passionate about. Been playing basketball for a long time. I play collegiately and professionally, so just excited to give my gifts and talents back that God has given me back to the young people and teach them how to play the game correctly.
Excellent.
And then I'm also an author. I'm a writer. I'm in a book already currently called Sincerely Me, which is a collective collaboration of 52 authors. And basically wrote to a younger version of us.
Wow.
And just try to give back to, give them information about, I wrote to about a 12 to 15-year-old me and just what I experienced as a young person and just to help them out. And then I'm also a poet. And I'm also a praise mind dancer, and then I speak in churches and different schools and things like that. So
excellent.
I'm definitely thankful that God gave me a lot of different gifts to utilize to impact these lives out here. So
excellent. So look, right. So everybody, listen. As usual, most of the entrepreneurs or business people or the people that I bring on the call come from the community that I come from, which is called Grindation. I always talk about him, Kendall Ficklin. He's put together this amazing community of people who are aspiring or are already entrepreneurs who are building their businesses, building themselves, building their communities to the next level. And Bree just happened to catch my eye as far as people who are doing things that are powerful and impactful. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to start asking some questions instantly. So the first question I want to ask you is, you say you're an author. A lot of people, they say, I want to write a book. And they ask that question, what was the process in writing a book? I know what my process is, right? But can you quickly tell them, maybe in 2 to 3 minutes, what was your process for putting the project together for this book?
Man, definitely just a lot of time. A lot of time it was trying to get, because it was a part of a book with the producer of it, and I was helping him behind the scenes, even getting the 52 people together. We were just like, who are 52 people, or 50 people outside of us two, who can really impact lives and who have a story.
Yeah.
And so just really looking at the time that was put into it, the editing, the whole process, I saw him just grinding behind the scenes. And even I'm working on my first book right now, and it's just a lot of effort. It's a lot of being consistent as well and being disciplined, really taking that time to sit down and write. I think is the key, because it's easy to get distracted and be like, okay, I'm gonna put it to the side. I did that myself for a long time. And I said, okay, look, let me get down to it. So putting the graphic designer in place, for your to really bring out the vision in the heart of your book. That's very important. So having to say a lot of no's, like, no, I really don't like that one. Okay, okay, we can do. Going through that process, and I just think that, really let it really be important of what it is that you want to convey to the people.
Yeah.
When they pick your book up, you want them to catch your heart. You want them to catch what you're really trying to do. And I think that's the biggest thing. Stay true to your vision. Not letting people alter that. So, I think just being consistent, being disciplined, manage your time effectively, you know what I mean, and make sure you're really asking the questions. That's a big thing. I didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
Going on my own venture in my own book, I didn't really know, but, talking to Coach Kendall, talking to other people who have written books, picking their brains, seeing what the process they did, I think really helped me as far as me going through mine. So.
Exactly. So look, y'all, I mean, there was a couple of things that you just need to hear. If you're an author out there, if you thought about writing a book, thought about wanting to create this project in writing, there's some things that you're going to put into it, right? And there's 4 things that I think that were key on what she said. One is time. Like, you really need to be conscious of your time. You need to value your time differently when it comes to a project like this. When I wrote my book, Intentional Mindset, I started to deliberately think of my time differently because I knew this project had to get done in a certain amount of time, so I valued the time that I put into the book. She said effort, right? And we're not talking about work, we're talking about effort. There's two different definitions there. When you look in a dictionary, work and effort are 2 different things. The effort you put behind your project is going to impact the people that you want to put in, that you're trying to impact, right? So you definitely need to put a certain amount of effort into this book. When we're not talking about 60%, we're not talking about 75, we're not talking about 85%, we're talking about 100% plus effort into this project so that you can put out the best product that you want to put out, right? She said preparation. Preparation is absolutely key when it comes down to doing these books, because if you do not prepare for what you're about to do or what you're about to produce, then it's going to become this thing where it's not going to be as best, or it's not going to be as good as what you could have put out. And then the last key thing, like we talk about it all the time. We talked about it last week. We talked about the week before. It keeps coming up. Consistency. You have to have consistency. I know, Bree, that you know for a fact that consistency thing is that thing is key, right? Like that consistency thing is one of those things that if you're not, it can be the factor of you failing or succeeding in whatever project that you're on.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I need you all to understand that 4 key things when it comes down to being just with anything. We're not even talking about being an author. Anything that you're trying to build, you're gonna need to manage your time correctly and honor your time, right? Honor that time. Be real conscious of what you're doing. Definitely with the effort. You have to put a certain amount of effort, like top-notch effort into what you're doing. And then preparation is key on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to build. And definitely understand that consistency is everything. So those are 4 key things that Bryana is talking about. Man, I'm just super proud of being able to have you on the call. I'm super proud of being able to just be able to talk to you, man. I want to talk about the next part of it because it go hand in hand with the writing part of it, the author part of it. I myself am a poet as well. How long have you been writing poetry, and does your poetry reflect the writing that you do? Because my poetry doesn't reflect the type of writing that I do. My poetry is more internal. It's more in tune. It's more intimate. I'll say it's more intimate and in tune with feelings than it is with the way I write my books, which is more in tune with your mindset and how you think. Is your poetry the same way that you write or coach your clients?
I would definitely say they're different in a way.
Mm-hmm.
In everything I do, I just try to be transparent.
Yeah.
I try to be open, especially when you're dealing with youth. You know, they want to see real.
Yeah.
You know, they want to see how you can relate.
They can see through it.
Exactly. You know, they want to be like, okay, no, she understands what I'm saying. You know, and I think when it comes to writing, because you know I blog and like stuff, things like that. I think I use writing more as a tool, like a resource, kind of like how can you learn from this, gain from this. When it comes to my poetry, I look at I think I come from more of a place where it's my testimony.
Mm-hmm.
It's the things that I've been through, things that I've seen, things that I've been through with my friends, family. Because again, I want to be relatable. I want it to be I want it to be a connection point at some point throughout my piece.
Right.
And I think that's important. You know, because with poetry, it's creative. You know, it's all imagery. I want to create this picture. I want to paint this picture into people's minds so that they can like, oh dang, okay, I can see that. You know, I can feel that. I want to bring some type of emotion out. Like I said, when it comes to like my blogs and things, it's more informative. It's more, you know, here's a resource, here's a tool that you could come back to, kind of thing. So I think that's where the difference is. But at the end of the day, my whole point of whether I write, you know, a book or a blog, whatever, versus a piece of poetry, it's more of I want to hit you in some kind of way. I want to encourage you. I want to impact you. I want to make some type of influence, some type of change.
Man,
that's where it's common ground. But the difference of how I approach it is different. You know.
I think that's the same thing with me, man. Whenever I'm writing something, whenever I'm producing a product, whenever I'm online creating a video, my main key thing is, what am I about to say? Is what I'm about to say going to impact lives? Like, I'm not just trying to do a Facebook Live to do a Facebook Live. I'm not trying to post a video to just post a video. Is what I'm going to say going to spark that thing in someone to change their life, change their direction, help them get over a hump? Like, is this going to help someone? And if it's not, I try not to post it because it's not beneficial to anyone. But if it is, I'm like super excited to like get it out of my system. Like I'm trying to get the video out and try and do it as quickly as possible so that it can get out to the person that it needs to get out to. So I understand exactly what you're talking about. And that transparency thing is key. Like, just with anyone, I find that you say you're a speaker, and as usual, you know, I talk a lot about my mentor Kendall. And the grindation. Kendall tells us like to really get butt naked with our story and try and get as deep into it as possible, because the more transparent you are, the more relatable you can become to people, and they understand that they're not the only one going through that. You know, you understand what I'm saying, Bryana? You ever been through that situation where you got like really intimate with the crowd and told them something, and you can look in people's eyes like, man, I thought I was the only one that was going through that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had this one time where I was in front of a lot of domestic violence women, and I was telling a story about the type of abuse that I saw that happened with my mom over a 18 year period, and they were like in shock that I would actually tell this story in the raw. Like, I saw the lady's face like, wow, you really said that out here in front of all of us. But afterwards, they were so compelled to approach me and let me know that it's refreshing that someone understands their position as a battered woman or a victim of domestic violence. They were able to get something out of it. So that transparency thing is really key.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Yeah.
I actually just had that experience the other day. I spoke at a middle school. I'm at a career day, and you know, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm sharing the vision of BBU, but our whole thing, of course, again, is to empower and motivate. And I just shared a piece of my testimony because both my mom and my grandmother passed away from cancer.
Wow.
And I was a caregiver to both of them. Me and my mom caregiver for my grandmother, and then I caregiver for my mom.
Right.
And I just shared, you know, when life gets tough, I asked them the question, how many of you are quitters?
Ooh.
You know, and about 80% of the room raised their hand. And I said, why? You know, and they're like, it's just life gets hard, and, you know, if feel like I'm not really good at something, or I didn't see myself be successful, I just quit. I just try to find something new. And I was just really trying to come from a place of, like, you can't allow yourself to quit. And I share my testimony of, like, back when I was in college, I just had a time period of my life where everything hit at one time. It's like I was playing collegiate basketball in my junior year. I tore my ACL. 2 weeks later, my grandmother passed away. Then 3 months after that, my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And then we lost our house. We lost car. Like, it was just like a domino effect.
Wow.
And I told him, and I asked him, I said, how many of you guys, if you were in my shoes at that time, as a 20-year-old in college, and having to make a decision, should I quit school, go take care of my mom? Should I stay in school, keep my basketball scholarship, and get a free, all these questions.
Yeah.
How many of you guys would have quit?
Yeah.
And all of them raised their hand.
Most people would.
And I said, right, our natural minds, like, we're going to quit, right?
Yeah, I mean, in your mind, like, man, it's over with. There's nothing else to do.
Right. It's like, what's the point? It's like, I just lost one of the most important people in my life. Now I can't play basketball, which is something I love and I'm passionate about for a year and a half. It's just all these things. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And I told him, I taught him about the word perspective. I said, it's all about your perspective. I had to change my mindset. I had to change my perspective and the way I viewed it. I could have been like, the woe is me. Like, oh my goodness, like, why would this happen? But I said, I let those things motivate me and push me further.
Yeah.
And now I'm able to share this testimony with you guys, and there was a young lady. I say all that to say there was a young lady in the group, and she's just crying. She's crying for like 10 minutes.
Man.
And I'm like, okay, this is a little sixth grader. You think you probably can't connect with a little sixth grader, but it's like, no, she's crying for 10 minutes, and she comes up to me after, and she said, Coach, thank you. She was like, there's so many things you said, and when you shared about your mom and your grandmother, and just like finances, and when life gets hard, she was like, there were so many things I connected with you. And that's why I was crying. And she was like, just thank you for being you. And she just gave me a hug. It's just like, that's why we do what we do.
Exactly.
Right there.
Exactly. It's always that one kid, man. It's always that one kid, man. And it makes you feel like you're not doing, because we get it, man. Like, speakers and authors and all these people, all of us who are trying to be entrepreneurs and have our own businesses, we get the roughest side of it. And a lot of people don't know that one person that comes to us crying and let us know that what we said impacted them is the main reason why we keep going. Because we know that there's one person in the crowd. I don't care if it's 4,000 people in the crowd. If I just impacted one person, then I feel like I came there to do my job, man. I understand fully what you mean. So, man, I want to get to the next question really, really quick. So, we got into the speaker side of it because you're telling about how you transparent with your story, but you're a coach as well. And so so you're a certified life coach, or do you just coach on the basketball side? How do you implement? And I got another question after this. I want you to answer this one as quickly as possible. I want to get one to our viewer questions. How do you balance the sports side of it and the life side of it? How do you put those together inside of your coaching to where they intertwine with each other and it works out? How do you do that?
My biggest thing, part of my coaching philosophy, I'm not a certified life coach, so I'll clear that up.
Okay.
But I do consider myself just a mentor. That's because, like I said, my nonprofit, our whole focus is a mentorship program.
Okay,
so
great.
We offer different services, but our overall thing is just to do life with these kids, these young adults, provide resources for them, put them in the best position because we want them to find their purpose.
Right.
And so with coaching, as far as on the basketball court, and how I kind of incorporate lifestyle coaching is I use the tools of basketball and implement it how it relate to life. So, for example, I'm like, I tell my players, if you're going to be late or you're going to miss practice, I need you to communicate, and not communicate with me 5 minutes before practice. Let me know in advance, because you know if you're going to be there or not.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just
ahead of time.
Quick text message, give me a call, because at the end of the day, I was like, that shows me leadership. Because I'm like, when you get a job, you're going to have to communicate with your boss if you're going to be missing, if you're going to be late. And, there may be a consequence, but at the end of the day, you did your part.
Yeah.
I talk about how sometimes you're not going to get along with everybody on your team. And that's okay, because the job still has to be done.
Yeah.
You still each have a role. You have to, so I kind of look at everything at that aspect as far as how to implement things of what we do on a basketball team when it comes to teamwork, communication, sacrifice, being selfless. Those are things you have to do in the real world.
Yeah.
You know, there are going to be people on your job you may not like, but at the end of the day, your boss expects you to get the job done with your team.
Man.
You know, you got to suck it up and be okay with it. You don't have to be friends on the outside, but like I tell my players, in between these lines, you guys are best friends. You family.
Wow.
You're going to dive on the floor for each other. You're going to go get that rebound when you don't feel like it, and you're going to do what you got to do for the team because it's not about you.
It's never about you.
It's
never about you. I need y'all to understand that right now. That is a key thing. What you're doing is never about you. Someone is counting on you. Someone is watching you. Somebody is depending on you to achieve what you said you're trying to achieve, because that's the only way that they could get the information, the motivation, the inspiration to do what they're going to do. Once you put yourself on a path to do something that you've never done before and make yourself uncomfortable, you have to understand this is no longer for you. There's somebody else that's coming up behind you that's waiting for you to succeed so that they can be like, I can do it too. So you have to understand it's never about you. And if you ever make it about you, your intentions are wrong. And that I want to get into that for a second. In my book, Intentional Mindset, I talk about that, just about your intentions and where you are in your mind about why and what you're doing. If your intentions are wrong about what you're doing, your business, your life, something will eventually fail. Because if you're doing it for personal and selfish reasons, it will always end up in turmoil. It will always end up on the cutting room floor. It will always will. But if you focus on someone else's well-being, someone else's upliftment, someone's motivation, inspiration, if you're trying to help as many people as possible get to where they want to be, kind of like I've dedicated my life to do, then things will always fall in place for you, because you're never about self, you're about other people. And whoever your creator is, whoever you think about as your person who you pray to, will give you the tools and the resources you need to give that person what they need. And those tools and resources will build your business and yourself up. So you have to understand it's never about you. So we got a question from actually one of our Grindation members, Alina from out of the UK. She wants to know, how do you publish a book? She says she's writing a book right now, and she don't know what the next step is after finish writing it. After you finish writing a book, what is your next step after that? What are some of the publishers that you deal with? I know myself, I do self-publishing. I use a resource by the name of CreateSpace. If you want to learn more about how to publish a book, please contact me in my inbox. I can give you some one-on-one coaching or some resources to get you to the next level on understanding the process on self-publishing a book. But for you, what do you use to publish your book? What is the process that you're using right now? We lost her. We're going to have to bring her back. So I just want everybody to know that it's okay. Like, it's okay to ask questions, because everybody doesn't know everything. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know everything. Great. There we go. Hey, Bree. Hold on. Let me get you on the speakerphone. Can you hear me?
Yep. You're good.
Great. So let me finish this sentence up for everybody, then you can get to it. Everybody understand it's okay to ask questions. I myself ask my mentor questions at least once a day, because I don't know everything, and somebody else knows, because if they got to a certain place, then they can teach me how to get there. And you need to learn how to ask questions without no regards to or thinking about that someone's going to look at you crazy, because if you're asking the right questions to the right person, you'll never get judged. So Bree, about that process for writing a book, what's your process?
I know right now, like I said, I'm also going on the route of self-publishing, and I actually heard of the publisher you're talking about, the CreateSpace. So I'm looking into that now. I definitely looked into our author's call on Grindation, so I'm kind of reviewing that and listening to the tips in there. Like I said, reaching out to a few people that I know, just to see what's the best route and see what's the best way to go with this process. So even in myself, I'm still learning that.
Yeah.
Right now, I have 2 people editing it for me.
Okay.
So I have 2 people reading it, proofreading it, making sure everything's spell checked and everything. The grammar's correct.
Yeah.
And I have somebody working on my layout right now as far as the format and how it's going to look in the book. And then I already have my graphic designer doing the cover page and everything with my picture and things like that. So really just pulling the right resources and people together, because I don't know how to do any of that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm going to go ahead and use those resources that know how to do it and do it well.
Okay.
And pull on them and their gifts. And so it's definitely working out. Things are slowly starting to come together. So I'm excited for the process. We're in constant communication on where we're at. And so that's just kind of where I'm at right now.
So
just continue to ask those questions.
So let's do this. I'm going to ask one last question to you before we close up. What is one thing you can give people right now? One thing that you can give everybody right now, Coach Bree, that will get them over that hump that they're on? You know, everybody right now, it's beginning of the year. It's about to be the end of the first quarter. You know, they're probably frustrated. You know, they put out a goal and they haven't got to it yet. They haven't even seen the light yet, and they're about to quit. Like, there's somebody out there that's about to quit. I'm not going to lie to you. I know who you are. I know that you're out there. There's someone out there that started the beginning of the year and was like, I'm going to achieve this. And over the next 3 months, you said that you were going to keep doing it, and you haven't seen no results yet, and you're on the verge of quitting. What can you tell that person out there, Bree, that's about to quit right now on their dream?
The biggest thing is don't. Just don't. And I know that's so cliche, but at the end of the day, it's just don't. Because one thing I always share with I call the participants and my students in my organization, I call them life changers. Because I'm like, the only way the world's going to change is if we start to impact one life at a time.
Yeah.
So as I pour into you, you need to go duplicate yourself into other people. And I think the biggest thing is, one thing I always tell them is that God knows exactly who to give what to.
Yeah.
He knows what you can handle.
Right.
I know you feel like you're tired, you're worn out, you don't understand. But like we talked about earlier, there's people attached to our purpose. We have to go through some things to be able to share.
Yeah.
If we don't go through anything, we can't impact lives. Because it's like, yeah, we could be positive all day, but sometimes we do need to share those when it got tough, when we had a struggle, because that's the encouraging point.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing, is realizing, like we said, it's not about us. When we start to get consumed on, oh, this is not going the way I thought, and we have a few setbacks, the setbacks is not our final stop.
Yeah.
The setback is that now we got to be strategic in how we're going to maneuver around it. And so, like I said, I just encourage people, just don't quit. It's easier to quit than it is to keep pushing forward.
Exactly.
And that's where the growth comes. That's where growth and preparation comes, because the only way for us to get to our next is we have to go through something. We have to go through that process to see if we can handle the next level.
Right.
You know, and so I believe that we just have to keep staying encouraged. Sometimes we can't also depend on other people to encourage us. We got to encourage ourselves.
Yeah.
I think when we don't see the results and we don't see the numbers and people coming, that is kind of hard. Like, especially when we have a service or we have a product.
Right.
It's like, oh man, like, it's kind of slow right now. Like, okay, what are we doing? But it's like, hey, it's all about that. It's all about that quality, not that quantity.
Exactly.
And even if you have one or two people, you do the best you can with those one or two people and see how their life continues to change.
Right.
And I think too, just letting those mentors and those people who love you and want to hold you accountable pour into you. I think that's another big thing. As leaders, we should still be teachable.
Yeah.
And as we are pushing these dreams and these visions, we got to continue to understand. We got to continue to gain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And it's all a process. You know, sometimes that process is wonderful, and sometimes that process is tough. But it's all worth it at the end, because we all know that at the end it's going to be worth something. So I just encourage everybody to keep pushing, keep grinding, for sure.
So look, everybody, I just want you to understand that what she's saying, keep pushing and keep grinding. Man, it's imperative that you understand that. So look, I heard this story one time, and man, it was a guy traveling from Detroit to Dallas and from New York to Dallas. But the plane was going to land at the same time. And the guy in Detroit, his flight was a coach flight, and the guy from New York was a first class flight. And they were good friends. They were calling each other, hey, I'll be in Dallas at this time. Like I say, I'll be in around the same time. And what's crazy is a lot of you are thinking that because you see somebody successful, you see they're making money, you see what they're doing, you see that they wrote a book, you think that you can't reach that. But I need you to understand that that guy in New York who has a first class flight and that guy in Detroit who had a coach flight, you need to understand something. Just because one flight starts before the other doesn't mean anything. Coach and first class land at the same time. There's no in between. Success is all about the process. The flight is the process. They land at the same time in the same city. I need y'all to understand. Some people may have started before you. Some people just started what they're doing before you. It doesn't mean that you can't get to where they are or pass them up. Some people quit at a certain point. Some people you don't even know who are successful at a certain point may quit in the next 2 months. But because you have more, your why is bigger than theirs, and what you're trying to do means more to you, you may pass them up. Don't quit. Don't back down. Don't look back. Take what you're trying to do, grasp the hold to it, and move forward with no regard to the side distractions that you're looking at. Stop looking for... Listen, let me tell you something. If anybody ever seen football out there, there's one truism right there. The only way to get touchdowns is not to look towards the end zone, is to keep getting first downs consistently until you reach the end zone. And I need you all to think about that. Stop looking at the end zone and consistently get first down after first down after first down, and eventually you'll reach the end zone. So, Bree, I want to thank you so much for getting on this call with me. I can't wait to connect with you again. We definitely have to find out where our goals meet and align so we can connect and find out where we can help each other out at. And everybody, look, man, I want you to understand, I want you to know that the Pick Your Brain show is not all about entrepreneurs. It's about successful people. If you're successful in your marriage, successful in your personal life, successful in your professional life, contact me. I'll get you on the show, and you can help others show them how you got to where you are. And remember, success only comes before work in the dictionary. And I'll see you soon. Talk to you later, Bree.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
That's right. That's right, Alina. That's right, Alina. It does not matter. It does not matter. And I'm talking directly to you right now because I know you go through this in your head. It does not matter where people are in their success and where their journey is. It doesn't matter at all. They just started before you, right? But you started, and that's the best part. And now you have a chance to make it to your level on your time. Stop worrying about everybody else. Don't worry about where they are. Don't worry about how they got there, because their journey is their journey. But your journey is your personal and your journey, and you need to find out what it looks like. And then you need to figure out what it feels like. And you know what I mean. Kendall talks about all the time. A lot of people want what it looks like, but they don't want what it feels like. I want you to find out what your journey looks like, and then I want you to pursue what it feels like, so that you can be totally satisfied and grateful for what you have achieved and accomplished. So everyone, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in. As usual, every Monday, we do the Pick Your Brain show where we talk to an entrepreneur or professional and ask them 3 questions that you would ask them if you were trying to build your business. So listen, everybody, have a great evening. Don't go out and stop thinking about the end zone. Just keep getting first downs. And I am guaranteeing you, if you just stay in the process and worry about those first downs, those little movements, those 1% more, those small wins, those things that build momentum, that helps you build confidence, I can guarantee you that you will reach your goals. I am Mike Burks. Thank you so much for